A macabre discovery in Indonesia, the woman in the uninhabited house. The unassuming house stood isolated, its peeling paint and creaking doors blending with the quiet rhythm of life in Ciherang Pondok Village, Caringin District, Bogor. A prospective buyer, hopeful for a new chapter in their life, had stepped into its empty halls only to stumble upon a nightmare. What they saw went beyond any horror they could imagine: the decomposing body of a woman, a harrowing sight that continues to haunt the collective consciousness of this small Indonesian village. This is not just a story of a body, this is a tale steeped in mystery, shocking revelations, and an undercurrent of grim curiosity. As the reality of this discovery fills headlines and social media feeds, one question grows louder: what secrets lie buried within this abandoned house? Ciherang Pondok Village, nestled in the serene hills of Bogor in West Java, had always been a symbol of peace and simplicity. But that peace was shattered when a prospective buyer entered what appeared to be an ordinary house for sale. Among dusty furniture and silence, they found something they were never meant to see: a human body in advanced decomposition. The immediate shock transformed into chaos as authorities were called in. Residents of the village watched with bated breath, their sleepy neighborhood suddenly at the center of a grotesque mystery. The house, once nothing more than an empty property, now stood as the center of a dark enigma. The body of the unidentified woman was found in a horrifying state, her remains bearing the marks of time and neglect. The room reeked of decay, its silence heavy with untold stories. Police described the scene as deeply unsettling, an experience that investigators and forensic experts grappled with as they began their grim task of uncovering clues. The exact position of the body and the state of the house suggested that the woman had been there for weeks, her death unnoticed until now. The discovery raised more questions than answers. Who was this woman? And why had her tragedy played out in a house that stood empty for so long? As soon as the news broke, a gruesome video allegedly depicting the scene began circulating on social media. The footage showed the stark reality of this horrific find: a body left behind, its discovery unmasking the darker undertones of human vulnerability. The video spread like wildfire, eliciting shock, disbelief, and morbid curiosity from viewers. Public reactions ranged from heartfelt sympathy to macabre fascination, fueling discussions and theories across online forums. Yet, the ethics of sharing such disturbing imagery remained a subject of fierce debate. Should scenes like this be publicly consumed, or does it do more harm than good by sensationalizing someone's tragedy? Social media gave the story legs, amplifying its reach but also distorting its core through speculation and unchecked storytelling. The house itself became an immediate focus of the investigation. Authorities scoured records to unearth its history: who owned it? Who had previously lived there? And perhaps most crucially, why was it left unoccupied? Residents of Ciherang Pondok Village, previously unaware of any unusual occurrences, were interviewed for insights. They recalled nothing suspect: no strange visitors, no rumors of illegal activity. Forensic teams combed through the house inch by inch, searching for fingerprints, DNA, or any shred of evidence that could answer the growing list of questions. The eerie emptiness of the house seemed to mock investigators as they struggled to stitch together fragments of this chilling puzzle. Who was this woman? Forensic experts began the painstaking process of identifying the victim, but decomposition had erased many of the physical clues that might have held answers. DNA analysis became the next logical step, but it was a race against time for a case that offered few leads. In the meantime, local whispers filled the void of silence. Some speculated that the woman might have been a transient, or perhaps someone fleeing trouble elsewhere. Others feared darker possibilities: a victim of foul play, perhaps left behind by a killer who used the abandoned house as a grave. At this point, nothing was ruled out, and the identity of the deceased remained one of the investigation's most critical mysteries. Determining how the woman died proved equally challenging. The advanced state of decomposition blurred crucial evidence, leaving investigators to rely heavily on forensic science. Could it have been an accident, a tragic lone moment that ended in death, unnoticed by the world? Could illness or natural causes be blamed? Or was this a deliberate act of violence, an intentional tragedy perpetrated by an unknown entity? As the clues came together, or failed to, these theories were scrutinized under the harsh light of uncertainty. Every possibility carried with it implications that rippled through the small village and echoed far beyond. The internet lit up with theories, from logical assumptions to far-fetched conspiracies. Some believed that the woman had become a victim of human trafficking, her fate sealed within the confines of the empty house only to be discovered too late. Others speculated that the house had been a meeting point for shady dealings, an illegal hideout where the woman became collateral damage. Darker theories suggested a serial killer targeting abandoned homes to hide evidence of their crimes. The villagers, however, clung mostly to fears based on real dangers. Could it have been someone from outside the community? Was her death connected to the house's mysterious vacancy? While some guesses turned out to be baseless, they underscored the profound unease created by the discovery. Houses, much like people, hold histories, and this uninhabited one was no different. Investigators delved into its records, uncovering ownership changes and periods of abandonment. No recent occupants had come forward, and the house's remote location and dilapidated structure made it the perfect cover for unsavory acts, either accidental or intentional. Many asked, how does a property fall so far into disuse that it becomes possible for those within its walls to vanish without anyone noticing? Could the anonymity of the structure itself be the key to understanding what had happened? As more questions arose, police deployed every resource available. They meticulously secured the crime scene, shutting down access to trespassers and prying eyes. Inside the house, they found faint traces of a story, small, fragmented clues that hinted at what might have transpired. Was the woman alone? Did someone else accompany her into that house, and if so, where were they now? While investigators worked tirelessly, the weight of the mystery pressed heavy on their efforts. Progress was slow, and answers remained elusive. For the residents of Ciherang Pondok Village, life had drastically changed. Once a tranquil neighborhood, their community was now clouded by fear and uncertainty. The proximity of such a tragic and grisly event made them uneasy, their safe haven now irrevocably altered. Local conversations were brimming with speculation. Had they overlooked something in the days or weeks prior to the discovery? Could this happen again, even to someone they knew? As the larger investigation unfolded, the locals remained on edge, their lives disrupted by the sudden intrusion of brutality. True crime experts shed light on the complexities of such cases, explaining how bodies in advanced decomposition complicate investigations. Forensic specialists discussed the challenges of extracting DNA from corrupted tissue, while criminologists explored why abandoned houses are often scenes of tragic crimes. Psychological experts weighed in, addressing the emotional toll of discoveries like this on communities and individuals. For fans of true crime, these insights help frame the case within the broader context of crime, consequence, and human frailty. History is filled with hauntingly similar incidents, cases of bodies found in neglected spaces, their stories largely erased by time and circumstances. Comparisons to past crimes reveal striking patterns. From unknown victims found in urban ruins to bodies buried in remote locales, the recurring thread is heartbreaking: lives lost, hidden, and left unanswered. Investigating such a case in a rural area presents unique obstacles. Limited forensic resources, lack of witnesses, and the advanced state of decomposition all hindered progress. Experts highlighted the pressing need for updated tools and training for police and forensic teams in villages like these, where such crimes, though rare, can leave scars that last for generations. The dark story of the abandoned house left painful lessons behind. Strengthening community vigilance, ensuring regular monitoring of abandoned properties, and raising awareness of safety measures became focal points for discussion. For the village, the tragedy underscored the fragile divide between ordinary life and the extraordinary shadows of loss and crime. As haunting as this case was, it forced us to reflect on the human condition, a woman whose story we may not fully understand, in a place where she was never meant to be, her fate discovered only by chance. The once peaceful Ciherang Pondok Village serves as a stark reminder that darkness often resides just beneath the surface of the everyday. In the end, this is more than a story about a body in an abandoned house. It's an unsettling testament to the hidden, a grim cautionary tale that echoes through the corridors of human curiosity, urging us to look closer, ask questions, and never ignore the silent corners of our world.